Welcome to the first installment of our true crime series here on Empowered Esquire. Please be kind to the families when you're discussing, potential theories in our true crime series. And please be nice to each other, right? And keep in mind, as I said, how it must feel to languish over what could have happened to someone that you love when years have gone by and you have heard nothing. So, welcome to our true crime series. For our first installment, we will be discussing the Maura Murray disappearance. Maura Murray was born on May 4th, 1982. Her parents are Frederick Murray and Lori Murray. She also has sisters and brothers Kathleen, Julie, Kurt, and Fred. Maura Murray was last seen on February 9th, 2004. At that time, she was 21 years old. To this date, she has been missing for 17 years. Her family has launched the MauraMurrayMissing.org website in the hope of finding someone who has some information about their daughter. Before we talk about some of the theories of what could have happened to Maura, let's first talk about what we know happened the day that she was last heard from. February 9th, 2004. After midnight, Maura used her computer to search the MapQuest directions for the Berkshires and Burlington, Vermont. Later on that day, around 1 p.m., she emailed her boyfriend, telling him that she loved him, but honestly, didn't feel like talking to much of anyone. She ended the email by promising that she would call him later that day and telling him that she loved him. Around 1:24 p.m., Maura emailed the nursing school faculty where she was attending nursing school at the University of Massachusetts Amherst. She told the faculty that she would be out of town for a week due to a death in her family. She then stated that she would let them know when she had returned. At around 2:05 p.m., Maura called a number which provides information for booking hotels in Stowe, Vermont. It's then believed that Maura packed a bag of clothing, toiletries, college textbooks, and birth control pills and headed off the campus. It's believed that around 3:30 p.m., she drove off campus in her black 1996 Saturn sedan. At 3:40 p.m., Maura is seen on CC footage withdrawing about $280 from her bank account. She's then seen on CC footage at a nearby liquor store purchasing Bailey's Irish Cream, Kahlua, vodka, and a box of wine, a total of about $40 worth of beverages. During both sightings, she was alone. There was no one with her. It's believed that around 4 to 5 p.m., Maura actually left Amherst and headed out towards Vermont via Interstate 91 North. The last call that her phone made on February 9th, 2004 was to check her voicemail. So at some point in Maura's road trip, she ended up crashing her car. It's believed that she hit a sharp turn on a road called, I'm reading it directly here, Ammonoosuc Road in Woodsville, New Hampshire. She then crashed her car and, of course, was there, we assume, trying to figure out some way to get help. Now, at some point, a bus driver did drive by Maura. At this point, the bus driver did ask her if she needed assistance, if he could call someone, and Maura refused to accept any type of assistance from him. She also asked him not to call the police. In his words, she pleaded with him, which at the outset is quite strange. Could you imagine getting into a car accident, someone offering help, and then you not only refusing the help, but then asking them not to call 911? But remember, Maura had an alleged history of drinking and driving. She had already gotten into another car accident previously to this one, and it's believed that there could have been more than one. And she already had the open case with another legal issue. So if in fact she had been drinking, as investigators think she was, it does make sense that she would be afraid for this bus driver to call 911 and for them to show up and think that she's drinking and driving. That would just lead to more trouble. So in her mind, you can see how she may have, as he said, pleaded with him not to call the police. So the bus driver said that he eventually drove off. He said that she insisted that she had called AAA and that AAA was on the way to come and help her. He did say that it was strange to him, number one, that she didn't want help, and also strange to him, secondly, that she said that she had called AAA because this bus driver is very familiar with the area, and he said that there's no signal there. So he couldn't really conceive how she had called anyone. Well, he drove off, and when he got home, he then called the police and told them about the accident. It's believed that that is how the police did eventually get to the scene, is because of the call of this Good Samaritan reporting the car accident.
Route 112, Woodsville, or Haverhill, depending who you ask. The sharp bend in the road is where this mystery started to unfold February 9th, 2004.
Over the course of the past 15 years, it's always been kind of a, obviously an emotional roller coaster.
The blue ribbon has been replaced over the years, marking the spot where the black Saturn crashed into a snowbank. The first call to police, 7:27 p.m. A local school bus driver told police he saw a woman standing outside the car.
She said she was shaken up. I couldn't see any blood on her face. And she was shaking like this. I says, okay, I'm going to go call the police.
An officer arrived 19 minutes later, finding the car locked and no one around.
So now that we have discussed the timeline for February 9th, 2004, we can now discuss some of the theories of what could have happened to Maura. Now, before we dive into that, I would like to say that these theories that I'm about to present are just that, theories. None of these theories have been proven to be true, and I am not expressing any personal belief in any of the theories that I share with you all today. And if this video is ever seen by anyone who knows Maura, I'd like you to know that my heart goes out to you and that I'm open to hearing if there's any more information that you would like me to add or edit. So, let's start with the first theory. Did Maura voluntarily disappear? Now, on the surface, it seems that Maura had everything going for her. She had a boyfriend who loved her. She was in nursing school. She had a loving family. However, when investigators delved into her personal life a little deeper, they found that Maura had a lot of very troubling things going on. Maura had an open case regarding a stolen credit card number. Maura had also been reported to have a bit of an issue with drinking as a coping mechanism, and that sometimes after drinking, she would then drive, and had gotten, as a result, into a few different automobile accidents. It's also believed via investigators that Maura and her boyfriend were having a lot of difficulties in their relationship. Many people said that Maura had cheated on her boyfriend. Many people said that Maura's boyfriend had also cheated on her, and it was also believed that she could potentially be pregnant. Now, the most intriguing thing about this theory is that after her disappearance, a mutual friend reported that her boyfriend had stated, quote unquote, that he thinks things worked out for the best. He was also seen by one of his coworkers getting rid of what they thought to be a picture, an ultrasound picture of a baby in the womb. So from this narrative, it could be conceived that Maura had a personal life which was, in her mind, on the brink. She was dealing with legal issues, she was dealing with potential drinking issues, and also dealing with issues in her relationship. Now, to the theory of Maura being voluntarily missing, there are a few little tidbits of alleged information that we should consider. Now, one of those tidbits being, Maura had searched several times on her personal computer for how alcohol affects a fetus in the womb. Now, investigators have said, and it's a very good point to make, that she was in nursing school, and maybe she was just making these searches because it had something to do with an assignment. But there is one particular day during which it is known that Maura was finished with all assignments around 3 p.m. that day, but she was still searching for how alcohol affects a fetus later on that night. Now, these instances, along with Maura's own sister reporting that Maura was uncharacteristically emotional right before her disappearance, these things combined do give some credence to the theory that maybe Maura may have been pregnant and perhaps not very ecstatic about it. Now, to that effect, there have also been several alleged sightings of Maura in Quebec. The second theory is that Maura was abducted and possibly murdered. Now, it should be said that Maura's father has publicly stated that he believes that someone harmed his daughter and that he does not believe that she voluntarily disappeared. To this theory, U.S. Marshal Art Roderick and journalist Maggie Frayling have both discussed two particular individuals who lived in the area that Maura went missing in. Now, one of those individuals expressed that he believed the other to be responsible for abducting and murdering Maura. There was an A-frame style cabin which it was believed that Maura was taken to before she was harmed fatally in some way. Now, Maura's father was instrumental in getting law enforcement to receive permission from the owner of that cabin to search the cabin for any hint of Maura. But unfortunately, the cabin was searched and nothing was found in the way of any type of remains or anything that really hints to Maura having been there at all. One of these individuals said that he strongly believed the other person to have been concealing a bloody knife that was used to harm Maura. It's possible that this person really did do something terrible to Maura and then dispose of her body elsewhere.
We're not quite sure whether Maura was dressed for this kind of cold weather or not.
Private investigator Frank Kelly walks the spot where Maura Murray crashed her car. He's here just before the snow started to fall tonight, at about the same time of the crash that happened 2 years ago.
We're just trying to get a feel from what everybody might have observed or didn't see that night.
That night after the crash, Maura, a 22-year-old UMass student, disappeared. Police call it an open missing person case. Her family members, who often come here, fear Maura was a victim of foul play. Her father, Fred Murray, tried to gain access to police files, but a judge ruled against him.
We all want to help. It is a puzzle.
Kelly and about a dozen other private investigators are now volunteering their time to help solve this puzzle, looking for any clues.
There is a considerable amount of traffic up and down this road. For a person to leave an accident and walk down the street and nobody seeing that person is just pretty hard to imagine that.
Kelly, who usually works murder cases, hopes this visit on the 2-year anniversary of Maura's disappearance sheds new light on what happened here.
I don't know. And if you don't know, then you want to find out. And going back to the beginning usually helps to lead you to where you want to go.
It has been 17 years since Maura Murray's disappearance, and still her family has no answers. And understandably so, they have never given up. As recently as last month, Maura's siblings held a virtual candlelight vigil for Maura, reminding people that Maura Murray is in fact still missing and that no one knows what happened to this wonderful 21-year-old who went on a little road trip. I'd like to thank subscriber Jet Set Girl for recommending this case to me, as I had never heard about the disappearance of Maura Murray until then. And if any of you have any disappearances you'd like me to look into and you'd like to discuss, feel free to comment below. Until next time.